Guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to a new video. Today is probably the most important day of the week, maybe even the most important day of the month, because today's CPI data is coming out, a consumer price index, and that says, we'll say if the inflation in the United States has risen again, or are we now coming down a little bit. So that's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be a very volatile day. The data comes out in approximately 1 hour. So without further ado, let's start diving in, because there's a lot that I want to tell you today. Before, of course, always do me a favor, like and subscribe, leave me a comment or share this video with your friends that think that's useful. Now let's get started. I first want to start off with the BTC USD pair here on the daily, and apparently this is a rising wedge that a lot of people are looking at the moment. It's been in the making for approximately 2 months. Usually I don't really trade these diversions based on the RSI, because I mostly use Cipher B, but I think it can be a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that is if we start breaking this support line, we're going much lower, and then of course the price will also nuke much more down south. Like I said, it was approximately 2 months in the making. We have here one touch point, here, and then here at the bottom we have approximately 4 touch points. So yeah, today with the CPI data, I think it's going to make a decision if we are getting one move higher here to more like the pinnacle, like really the end, or if we now are breaking it, and then I think it's game over and we go much lower in the next couple of days. There's a few things that I'm looking at to determine this. Let's quickly head now over to what we usually use for the regular indicators. Looks a little bit ugly, but we have now almost a another red dot for today. If this is getting confirmed, then I think it will be pretty ugly. On the 4 hourly for BTC, this is where we're looking at. We have been coming down. You know what, let me first take out these fib retracements, because they are a little bit unclear. We have been coming down. This is the broader picture, right? Where we said, okay, we have a top here, we have a bottom here, and then we went down 61.8, so the golden pocket a little bit higher. Then we broke down during the night and kind of bounced off here from the value area low, and now we're a little bit back at the golden pocket. So we also crossed here just very briefly the 78.6. We can take this one out. And something else where we actually bounced off from, because I was looking at the charts like, yeah, well actually this diagonal line that we have on the charts, it's not so pretty. Can we do something better than this? And actually, if you take the last 3 points like this, then actually chart suddenly becomes much more clear. You know what, let me take a daily and then zoom out a little bit. Yeah, a little bit more like this, I guess. Then we're taking this one out, and then we have them like this, and then you can see that we actually bounce off pretty good here, and then we bounce off yesterday. So that looks pretty good. We are right now just underneath the fake blue lines of value area high for the macro, but on Bybit we already surpassed us. We are just above it, so that's very important to know, which is great, because I think if we are really going lower and we're staying underneath this fake blue line, then eventually we are going to test the point of control, then the value area low, and then who knows, maybe dipping even a little bit lower, but then we're really talking about sub 19k again. There is another thing that I've been looking at that we could be a little bit being in, that is this triangle pattern. And then you could say, hey, you know what, we had 3 touch points now at the sloping support line, and we now had let's say 3 touch points on the top for our resistance. Now the funny thing is, if you would take a measured move, so we do like this, let's say this top and then approximately here, so it'll be a little bit conservative, and we paste it somewhere here on the breakout, because usually these patterns break out to the upside, then we're getting a price target of approximately 28,200, and you can see right away that we're here at the bottom. Let me take out this one, that's a little bit easier for you to see. Yeah, like this. Then you can see that we're right away here at some support and resistance lines that we have found also in the past. Not very perfect, but it's very interesting to see that if this is breaking out like this, that could be a very nice target, at least to trade to. And that's of course way higher than my conservative targets with the wick or the golden pocket that we have here intermediate. So yeah, interesting to see if this will play out or not. Yesterday I said that I took a long trade from this area right here. There was a small one, hoping for another bounce up, making a higher high and then something like a divergence, and then we could go lower. That didn't happen, and we start nuking south. And I said in yesterday's video that I have more orders here on the downside to kind of level out my my purchasing price. I did not expect actually that we would get such a week down, but it happened, and it activated the purchases. So my average buying price I think is now somewhere at 23,200-ish, somewhere here. My game plan for today is, once the trade is in a profit, I right away move stop loss to entry. If that doesn't happen before the CPI data comes out, then I will make sure that I have a stop loss somewhere underneath a wick. So I will then zoom into, let's say, a 5 minute, and I will then somewhere place stop loss here, 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 or here, just underneath a swing low, that in case we suddenly start nuking down, that at least I will take the loss and that not everything get liquidated. Because like I said, I expect a lot of volatility. Something that is that you could have traded, but then you probably need to be awake in the middle of the night. That is this beautiful bullish divergence here on the 1 hourly and smaller time frames. You see that the price is going lower and that the momentum wave is going higher. So that is a beautiful bullish divergence on also, let's say, a little bit intermediate or bigger time frame. That is always very nice. On the 30 minute, it was also there, as you can see, momentum wave going higher and price going lower. Money flow is slowly coming up. I actually wanted to see a little bit already more movement to the upside, but that so far looks good. On the 12 minute, it was a little bit more tricky. Yes, we also had him here very macro. So then if you would connect these two price levels with each other, then you could say, yeah, there we also have bullish divergence, but you also could have longed here. But this one was a little bit tricky because you can see the money flow is still coming down on this 12 minute, but the momentum waves are already coming up. So then you would only have like a little bit of move here, and then we were suddenly nuking south again. So this was a little bit tricky, but here at the bottom it was a pretty good trade if you were taking it. So congratulations, and of course don't forget to take your profits. On the upside, where we're looking at for support and resistance, let's quickly zoom into the 30 minutes. So now we had the bounce right here of that support line, shall we say, and we are also pretty fast coming into a support and resistance here. We had a small one yesterday. I will put it back in there because I have no idea why this is gone. I think it was somewhere starting from here to here-ish. I think that was our support and resistance. No, wait, actually it's just the one that's still above us. So that's actually right here with all these wicks. So excuse me, so it's just actually the one right here with all the wicks. As you can see that we had so many touch points there. I actually expect some resistance there. If we would break it, then of course I'm aiming here for the top. But what I really like to do in these kinds of price actions or these kinds of moves is just very plain simple. Use a fib retracement from the bottom to the top. So what can we correct? And then the golden pocket is at 23,600. That for me is an important one, but yeah, like I said, I look at intermediate. So first is 0.5 because we have so many wicks there that beautifully coincides with our support and resistance box. That's 0.5. Then the golden pocket just above us, and if we really breach that, then again these tops right here, that will be approximately 24,200-ish. That's going to be the most important one. Quickly head to the dollar index because we have some very interesting stuff going on here. As you can see, this was the ascending triangle that we draw out yesterday. And we said, you know what, if we would break out, that would be pretty nice, and then we can take a measured move, copy paste here at the bottom, and then the price level will be approximately 104. But as you can see, we had our breakout here at the bottom, we had a retest, and now we are going lower. So far so good. But what I also saw, and I have to say this, I saw this from not a technical analyst, but this is actually a very nice move, is that we have a left shoulder, a hat, and now a right shoulder. So if this one is breaking down, that would be super nice, because then our price target for the dollar index would be approximately 101 to let's say 102. and right there we also have quite the resistance of support from last time, so that would actually will be already a pretty nice move to the downside. Of course, when the dollar index is dumping, then BTC is pumping, so you can see here that we played quite a long time with that level. I really actually hope that the dollar index is dumping down, because that would finally mean a nice thick relief rally for BTC. Something else that I want to show you, absolutely mind-boggling when it comes down to the dollar index. The money flow, the positive money inflow flow is already 406 days. 406 days of green money flow. I look back in history, I could not find a period that was as long as this one. So I think it's time that we are maybe getting a little bit of red money flow and coming down a little bit for the dollar index. Here also now a red dot I just popped up, and on the 4 hour it still looks pretty good. Money flow can go down, momentum wave and RSIs are pointing down. So let's hope that that will work out, then BTC can pump. For the S&P, still very tricky. We talked about this yesterday. If this one rolls over, it's going to be very ugly, very fast. It looks actually also a little bit ugly. Money flow coming down, momentum wave coming down, RSI coming down, VWAP coming down. That doesn't look good on the 4 hour. Yesterday we did print a green dot here on the hourly, and the money flow is coming a little bit to the zero line, but I think also here everything stands or falls with the CPI data, and that will come out, like I said, approximately an hour from now. Last month we had a CPI of 9.1%. That was pretty high. Believe it or not, analysts are expecting that we are coming down just a little bit to 8.7, so that we might be maybe have a little bit of a peak in the inflation. That would be very interesting. If it is 9.1 or higher, I think we're gonna crash down. Hard volatility to the downside. The Fed will definitely raise the interest rates then again with 0.75 or 1% next month in September when they come together again. But this is going to be interesting to see if we are really kind of picking out a little bit. In a chart it looks like this. We were going up, then we had 1 month where we go a little bit lower, then 8.6 and 9.1. That was both pretty unexpected. Most analysts are most of the time off, to be honest. So this is going to be major to see if we are going lower or not. What could be what is probably the reason? The the price of oil, because oil is very important in this CPI index, and the price of oil has come down from the top $130 now to $88.8, so let's say $89. But the interesting thing is that this was a 31% drop from the top to the bottom, but from July measured it was a 15.7% drop, so almost half of the move down from that really top is actually in the last month, and that is where the data is coming out over the month of July. So that's going to be very interesting to see. So we're really hoping that the price of oil that's now dropping also then makes sure that inflation is coming down a little bit. I already said this many times before, just because now the next number is maybe a little bit lower doesn't mean that was it, peak inflation, we're going down, yippee-ki-yay, stock market's going up, because you can also see here that we had 1 month of April 8.3 going a little bit lower, and next month was higher again, next month is higher again, so we could now have a lower month, but it could be that the month after or 2 months after that we're spiking up again. This is not something that goes in one peak up and then just in a crash down. That's just not how it goes. So, a lot of levels, a lot of stuff to be looking out for. I might do an emergency update when the data has been coming out, but it will also be trading. So I don't know when I will do it. So it will come out approximately 1 hour from now. That's an hour before New York open, and of course then New York will also react right away to the price action an hour later. But like I said, if inflation is spiking, then Bitcoin will go down. Later on the markets will also go down. If the inflation is 9.1 or lower, then I think BTC will go up and the markets will also rally up again. So that's going to be interesting to see. If you like this kind of content, and if I have not been talking too fast for you, then please do me a favor. Like, subscribe, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment, share this video with your friends if you think this is useful. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links you also find in the description. I post there pretty much multiple times per day. Thank you guys so much. See you very soon again in the next one, maybe in a few hours already. Thank you so much. Bye bye.